right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining for another episode of our Peak Performance Podcast, where we go deep into the sales training. And there's nobody I'd want to do sales training with more than the guy sitting to my right, Jonah Lewis. Jonah, how are you today, brother?
Doing awesome. What's going on?
Not much, man. I don't think I need to, like, a lot of people sometimes they need to introduce him and they need to kind of tell people what they've done. Honestly, bro, like, you're out there, like, everybody knows who you are. Like, I don't need to say anything, but let's hit the cliff notes real quick. How old are you?
24, almost 25.
24, almost 25. Started insurance at 20, 21.
Well, I got my health license at 19 and then got my life license 6 months later when I just turned 20.
Yeah. And then biggest year was 750,000 in premiums.
780.
780.
Yeah, you gotta get it right.
780. Sorry, that was so impressive, bro. That is that actually most people don't even do that in a month, which is crazy. So 780,000. So you can sell. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, but tell us just a little bit, because obviously it didn't start out where you're writing 100K months, here and every other time. But just tell us, Jonah, how was like starting out? Give us a little bit about the journey from brand new agent struggling to top dog.
Yeah, for sure. And thanks for having me on, brother. I mean, dude, starting out was rough. It was we didn't have, first of all, I want to preface where we didn't have the sales training we have now.
Yeah.
We didn't have the structure, the support, the leadership. And dude, this is awesome. We're here in the Munster office in Indiana this week. You guys are doing an awesome lock-in. You guys have a bunch of great leaders in your group. So anybody that's working with you guys is really blessed to have what you guys have. And to be honest with you, like, putting myself in the shoes of a new agent, it's like I would have killed for it.
Yeah.
So, and I think a lot of people take that for granted because they don't know, like what it was like when we came into the business, and not to be like that person of like, oh, back in my day, but it was, when I joined, it was basically the sales training was, here's a few untitled YouTube videos, watch these, here's a script, good luck. So it was definitely a struggle starting out, and it took me 3 weeks to make my first sale. Dude. And I went through 3 lead batches, and each lead batch spent $1,000. So went through $3,000 worth of leads over the course of a little over 3 weeks. Not even to break even, just to get my first sale.
Most agents can't make it through that. They spend $300 and they don't make a sale in a day, and they're freaking out.
Yeah. But the reason I was able to do that was one thing I did do very well was I vetted the opportunity.
Yeah.
I interviewed with pretty much, I looked into every single insurance company out there, interviewed with a good majority of them. And it was like, I was in different Facebook groups and different things, and I messaged a few people, and I saw the chat. Like, I saw, like, the people numbers are like, we don't have bots in there.
Yeah.
Nobody's posting fake sales. Like, today, 4 years ago, is the same thing. Like, people are still producing and still writing business. So I saw all these people in the chat writing business. I was plugging into all the team calls, all the training calls. I got really obsessed. Like, I was taking advantage of every single freaking training I could find and consume. And I was like, dude, if all these people are writing business and they're doing it, there's no reason I can't. Yep. They don't possess any special talent or ability that I don't have. So I had such a strong belief in the opportunity and in the business that it kept me consistent. And also, the reason that agents struggle is because they don't want to hold themselves accountable, because it's easier to blame, oh, it's the leads, oh, this person didn't train me right, this person didn't do this, it's just a bad time of the year, people just don't want to buy life insurance this time of the year. Like, you can think of 100 different scenarios as to, like, or different things to blame it on versus taking self accountability and coming to the realization, like, oh, maybe it's me. Maybe I need to improve and develop.
Yeah.
And so I was I'm big on taking self accountability. Jocko Willick's book. Why am I blanking on it? Extreme Ownership. Extreme Ownership. Yes. Phenomenal book. That book I read that book when I was 19 years old, and just really shaped my thought processes to, like, just when you take extreme ownership of everything and take accountability, you have complete control, of your life. And anytime I've, even being in this business, the past few years, like, everyone goes through sales slumps. Like, I had months where I would produce $100,000 and I would come home and I would be at zero. I didn't make any sales a day. I had 13 appointments on the books, would come home and be at zero. And I would have days, sometimes a week, where I would go and run my appointments every single day and would strike out. And every single time I reflected and analyzed, it wasn't the leads, it wasn't the area, it wasn't this, it was that, it was always me. And there was always something that I needed to tweak and adjust.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. And I would say I love about you, but that's not the word. The word is like, that's what I admire and really respect about you. Like, by far, probably the most disciplined person that I know. I'm trying to rack my brain right now. I don't think I know anybody more disciplined than you. And it honestly, like, it's always inspired me, like, because when I first got in, like, you were starting to crush it, but it was just the beginning. And then over my first year, when I was struggling a lot, that's when you were really starting to pop off. I think you did $500,000. How much did you do your first full year?
First full year was 556.
Yeah. So, which was nuts. And you only started like 3-4 months before I did. So just saw you absolutely crushing it, saw your work ethic, some of the things you were doing. And one thing that I love about you, and this is kind of what I want to dive into, is you do not take no for an answer.
No, absolutely not.
Never. And the problem is, dude, so many agents, especially people that haven't done sales, like most people who've done sales, hey, like, you have to go through 7 no's to get a yes. Like, we know that, but most people that haven't done sales, they get that first no, they're like, well, they said no, like, get rid of the lead, go dial someone else, right? But Jonah, when you're selling, how important is it to keep pushing past?
So important. Okay, people talk about passion, like, oh, like, if I'm going to be in sales, like, I need to be passionate about the product I'm selling, which is true, but there's a caveat to that, where when I first got into life insurance, I'll be honest with you, I had no passion for life insurance. Because I didn't understand yet. I didn't understand. But as I ran more appointments and gained more experience, I was like, wow, what we're doing is a really big deal. And how we're protecting families and putting myself in that situation, I've lived that. And I've seen that, where when I was 14, my mom, she passed away from colon cancer, and she got diagnosed with colon cancer, and actually it was already stage 4. She passed away 3.5 weeks later. And she was a stay-at-home mom with me and my 5 younger brothers. And so she had no income. She wasn't working. She was homeschooling us. My dad was the sole breadwinner, and having no income coming in from her, and it was still hard financially, on my dad. Like, he didn't even really talk about it, and luckily we were in a decent spot. But, like, we still had to, like, pay for the funeral. My dad had to hire a full-time nanny to take care of me, like, my younger brothers, because they were all much younger than I was. I was pretty young too, so it was like, I mean, dude, and then luckily he had a little bit of savings. Like, he had a little bit of a cushion. And if the roles would have been reversed, if my dad would have passed away, we would have been completely effed. And then you look at the average American, where it's, like, when you're in sales, like, you want to be passionate about a product, but the passion it just doesn't come right away. Like, it comes through repetition. But if you're, like, hypothetically, let's say you're watching this and you're thinking about, might sell life insurance, might sell this, might do this, I'm not really sure, but I want something I'm passionate about. I quite literally cannot think of anything more important you could possibly be passionate about than protection for someone's family. Because when we sit down, and you do this every day, we've all done this, if you've ran any number of appointments, you look at financial inventory, and you look at their income, you look at their situation, their health, everything, and you just ask them. And it's not even necessarily as a sales tactic, it's more just getting a feel for their situation and trying to understand, like, if Ryan, Mary, let me ask you, God forbid, if Ryan didn't come home tomorrow, what would that look like for you guys financially? Would you guys be able to stay in this home? She's like, well, I don't know what we do. It'd be really hard. And how can you not get behind that? How can you not be passionate about selling that? So when you come in and you have, it's really, you have such a high level of belief in the product, nothing the client says phases you. Because when I first started, I did a terrible job building the why.
Yeah.
And I let clients walk all over me. And because I wanted them to like me. And I wanted to build a rapport with them. Yes, that's how, like, Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, of like, oh, people only buy from people they like. Which back in the day when that was written, in the 1930s, 1940s, was true.
Yeah.
In today's day and age, it's a little bit differently, where yes, you still want them to like you. Yes, that's definitely a benefit, but that's not the sole determining factor anymore. It's changed for now. People buy from people that provide value. So my question is, so my goal when I go into appointment, when I flipped it, and when I started writing business at a more consistent, higher level, was the mission was very clear. I'm like, hey, I'm either going to help and serve this family, or we're going to get really uncomfortable. Because, like I said before, when I would go into homes and build rapport, I did a great job of building rapport.
Yeah.
They loved me. They wanted to. I was invited to family conventions, to this event, da da da. I was their best friend, but they didn't want to buy life insurance, and that's. So was I really serving them? No, because they submitted a request. They need my help, and it's not our job to be all hunky dory and get them to like you and build a bunch of rapport and have a good time. Like, it's our job to be a professional and to simply help them. So when you get a client on the phone, you go into an appointment and you have that frame of reference. Like, my only goal is to help and serve this family, and I'm going to do everything in my power to do that. And worst case scenario, if I don't, and they don't buy, at least I can hang up the phone with a justified conscience, knowing that I did everything in my power to help and serve them. And if they pass away tomorrow, it's not my fault.
Yeah.
Because I did my best.
Yeah. Dude, let's role play that a little bit, because it's one thing to say and it's another thing to execute. Right. And I think it helps for people to hear. So let's just rip like any lead type that you want. Like, let's just rip that. I'll give you some objections and let's just see how you keep pushing past.
For sure. What's the situation? What are we looking like?
Let's just go like right at the beginning. Like, you're just dialing. Let's just talk about some like aged mortgage protection mailers for right now, and then we'll do a little bit of the wide building, like that post financial inventory in a minute here. Let's just give me a call.
Start to finish?
We'll do the first part. I'm gonna give you some objections and just to kind of hear what you're doing to get past them. So we'll just do like the first like probably like 2 minutes.
Okay. Ring.
Hello,
Ryan?
Yeah.
Hey, good morning, Ryan. It's Jonah getting back to you. And I work with the brokerage, and we handle all the mortgage protection files for Chase. And Ryan, your file associated with your property over there on 123 Main Street just came across my desk, and looks like this would be in regards to the mortgage protection. Pays off the home if you become sick, disabled, pass away. Again, Ryan, it looks like your file was flagged, and I'm looking at this here, and it looks like nobody's been able to get back to you about this.
Yeah, that's just because we didn't need it.
Okay, understood. Because it looks like we have been trying to get a hold of you. Do you not think you need it because you're afraid the price is going to be too high, or because you got declined?
Well, not necessarily. We just we're good. We have some coverage already.
Okay, yeah, completely understandable. Basically, it's my job, since your file was escalated to my desk, it's simply my job as the medical underwriter to run you through the options and letting you guys know what is available to you. So listen, I got another call coming up here shortly. I've only got about 5-10 minutes, but grab a pen and paper and we can run through the options with you.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we can run through the options, Jonah, but I already have some life insurance and stuff. It's just not something I'm interested in.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. Not a problem. Has anybody explained to you the difference, Ryan, between life insurance and mortgage protection?
I mean, one pays out when you die, the other one pays out the house.
Sure. Yeah. So close. It's close. So mortgage protection and life insurance, so they're the same as, like you said, they both pay out when you pass away. The reason that mortgage protection is actually a little bit better then life insurance is mortgage protection also covers you on the living side. So, if you become sick, disabled, cancer, heart attack, stroke, disability, anything along those lines, this policy is paying out as well. Because I don't know if you're aware of this or not, Ryan, but 90% of home foreclosures is actually not due to death. It's either due to unforeseen medical bills or being disabled for a period of time, not being able to work. I'm assuming, Ryan, since you're young, relatively healthy, you do not plan on me passing away anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't plan on it.
Okay, gotcha. So it looks like at the time of this request, you were more so looking for coverage on the living side, especially since you do have those existing life insurance policies.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's something that I don't have.
Okay, great. So sounds good. So like I said, I don't have a ton of time. I got another family coming up here shortly. If you got about 5-10 minutes to get this knocked out, we can run through your options with you.
Bet that was good stuff. And so, like, one thing to point out that like nothing I said affected you, phased you, pushed you offline, or like made you change your tone, pacing, none of that.
Which I had to change. When I first, I would get like personally offended when I first started dialing, and they'd give me an objection and be like, "What do you mean?" I try to argue with them.
Yeah.
And then you get into an arm wrestling match. Yeah. You try to argue with them or you get emotional, you lose every time. Yeah. And you have to think about because sometimes you call a client, and I'm not gonna swear in here, but the clients are what.
Yeah.
And we all call those clients, and everything in you wants to cuss them out, but you have to look at it like a game, where the only way that you win the game is to help the family. Yep. And so when and it's like with everything, just if you just gamify the process of I need to make this many dials, I want to get this much production, I'm in competition with so and so, the more you can treat it like a game, then the more success you're gonna have. Because if you take this business super serious, dude, you're just gonna psych yourself out. You're just gonna psych yourself out. You're gonna stress yourself out. Just breathe, relax, have fun. Don't take it super serious, and focus on what's in control.
Dude, that's awesome. I love that you mentioned that. Can we talk about that for a minute? And I do want to get towards after you're done with the financial inventory and you're really going deep on the why, and how you're pushing past objections there. But what you were just talking about,
Can I interrupt you though?
yeah, yeah.
I want to add one more thing to what you said though, because agents need to understand is when when you were giving me an objection in the beginning, dude, I didn't have a lot of leverage.
Yeah.
I didn't all I could really say was, listen, Ryan, your file was flagged. I just need to run through your options with you. When you tell me you're not interested, because I don't know your situation.
Yeah.
Being good at sales is an intentional question asking. So in the beginning, when they give you pushback, it's a little bit harder because you don't know the information. But bro, once you get that client worksheet fill out and you have all the information, and then they give you a rebuttal, you have that's the ammunition you right there to help them.
Yeah. Dude, that's killer. And yeah, I think that a lot of agents, they way over talk it at the beginning.
Yeah.
When they don't have the information, and then at the end, they don't know what to say after they have all the info.
You want to be assumptive, but never assume.
Yeah. That's a perfect way to say it, because you know what assuming does.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, so talk a little bit about what you were saying about not stressing yourself out, don't take it too seriously, because dude, obviously you personally experienced your mother passing away, and that's what we're up against. A lot of times where there's been 3 or 4 times where I've called somebody, I've showed them some options, and they said, hey, I want to think about it, and by the time I called them back a week later, that person's already passed away. And that's the weight and levity of what we deal with. So Jonah, how do you disconnect from that giant emotional weight and still be relaxed, but also still care? It's a juggling act, it's a balancing act, and it's really difficult to do.
Man, that's a really good question. It takes time. It's just the more you do it, the better you are at doing it. Where it's on, I think it's important to. That's why self-development's so key, and that's what we're big on with Pinnacle, Prosper. Dude, when we're hiring people, we're not just teaching them to sell on a high level and to make a lot of money. We're teaching them to develop as individuals and become better men and women. Yeah. And for me, dude, everybody has their own thing, but the gym, the gym I don't like. Not everybody works out, but me personally, this is my opinion. I don't know how you can be in sales and not work out. Yeah, the amount of stuff we have to deal with on a daily basis. Like, I didn't work out. I don't want to murder somebody. That's just me. That's the way I'm wired. But that's personally, that's helped me a ton. Is just like if I am feeling stressed out or anxious or waiting, just getting all that aggression out in the gym. Yeah, like for you, it's golf. Yeah, I mean, getting out there, but just get out there and do something active. Yeah, do something active, and you, in order to perform in this job, you have to be living a healthy lifestyle. You have to have a good mindset and all these different things. So that's why we're so heavy, and that's why we preach on, hey guys, like do something physically active every day. Yeah. Hey guys, when you don't go out for lunch, like don't get a cheeseburger or pizza, like pack your food, do meal preps, eat clean, eat healthy. Your body's a Ferrari, put premium in it, fuel your body, and all these healthy habits stack up and allows you to have a positive mindset and not get super down on yourself. Yeah. Enjoy this business, enjoy the process because it is stressful. You're gonna have bad days. We're talking about death. That's it's a big deal. But also just realizing like, hey, I'm here to do my job. I'm here to focus on what's in my control. I'm here to help people benefit, serve others, and do the best I can.
Yeah, dude, absolutely, man. And that's something that I struggled with for so long. And like you said, it takes time. Eventually, you know how to deal with it. But dude, at the beginning, man, I just like I couldn't like it shut me down a lot of times. But I want to get to um after the financial inventory, we've gone through, we know the situation, and now it's time to like really go deep on the why. So I kind of want to focus on the people that are being, whether they're being stubborn, ignorant, they're not wanting to like say, yeah, I'd be screwed, or they're giving those vague answers. So let's just say it's my wife and I make 6 grand, she makes like 2 grand, bills are like 3,500 ish. That's the situation. Right now we have a life, no life insurance, and we got something through work. Other than that, nothing crazy. We're both young. So after you're done with the financial inventory, or whenever you do the why building, can we rip through that?
Yes, 100%. Okay. Um, yeah, and I want to add one more thing before that, where when it goes into building to effectively building the why, I think I see a lot of new agents and they just try to logic sell,
Hmm.
where they stay surface level with the client. We're like, hey, hey Ryan, so we got this product called cashback options, really awesome. If anything happens, you get $300,000. You don't have to use it. You get all your money back. It's a no brainer. Then they're just less about the product, more about how that helps their situation, solves the problem. Yeah. How about how that serves the family? Like, yes, there's a time and place where, of course, you explain how the product works. Yeah. But focus on how that affects you, how to solve a problem. So I used to try to logic sell people, and it never works. People people do not buy based on emotion, or people do not buy based on logic. They buy based on emotion, and then they back that emotion by logic. Yeah, is the psychology of the human brain. So which plays for our benefit. Like, luckily, life insurance is highly emotional. Yeah, which allows us to effectively help clients more. But I went from trying to logic sell them to just being way too brash with the why. So I feel like, so I would say, okay, Ryan, so what you're telling me basically is you just don't care about your family. I was like,
Yeah.
how would it work? It's like one end of the spectrum or the other.
Yeah.
So I had to flip that and then kind of put it right down the middle, where yes, you're challenging them, but you're learning how to challenge them in a respectful way.
Yeah. Yeah. So what does that look like?
Yeah. So I'd be like, okay, Ryan, so looking at the situation here, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming since you are the primary breadwinner, that basically the main reason you submitted this request to my office and taking the call today was you just wanted to make sure that the home was taken care of and paid off. God forbid if you were to pass away, Ryan.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think we'd probably be all right, but
Okay. Gotcha. Um, and correct me if I'm wrong, because it's like, because you're making $6,000 a month, and Anna's making 2,000, and the bills are 3,500, and you said you have no other sources of income.
um, Yeah, I know.
Okay. So it looks like Anna would more than likely not be able to probably leave the home then. If something were to happen.
Well, I mean, we have some savings.
Got it. Okay. Because when we had spoken, you said you had about 2 months of savings saved up, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's play this out. And obviously, God forbid, put this in a hypothetical situation. So you pass away and it goes through those 2 months of savings. Walk me through what that looks like afterwards.
I mean, it's probably to go get the job or.
Okay. Got it. So she'd have to get another job on top of, so she'd be working 2 jobs on top of taking care of the 3 kids.
So yeah, that's what we have to do.
Okay. And I mean, I'm just trying to figure out how I can help and serve you guys. I mean, it looks like, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but the main reason of this request was making sure that she was protected. God forbid anything happened to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. And Ryan, also looking at this here, looking at your health, looks like you guys are decently healthy. You guys are only on a few medications, so I'm assuming in correlation to that tomorrow's not promised, but you guys also don't plan on passing away anytime soon.
Yeah, right. I'm healthy. I never go to the hospital, and
Okay. So gotcha. So again, looking at this situation here, correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like the main and primary reason you guys were looking to get coverage was, again, the death benefit protection is important, but more so making sure that we do have protection on the living side. So if God forbid, Ryan, if you were to, become sick, cancer, heart attack, stroke, sure you become disabled, able to work, and essentially any of those situations that the home is taken care of in that aspect as well.
Yeah.
Would that be a fair assumption?
Yeah.
Okay. Understood. And, I mean, let's break that down in a hypothetical situation. Ryan, so in 2024, 1 in 3 people get cancer at some point in their life. So between the 3 of us on this phone call right now, between you, me, and Anna, and of course, God forbid, but statistically, one of us is going to have cancer at some point in life. And in today's day and age, 2024, if you go through treatment, well, you're looking at anywhere from $100,000 to $300,000 in medical bills. So God forbid if that were to occur. So Ryan, you're going through cancer treatment, so you're not able to work. So that $6,000 a month in income that you're earning gets cut down to zero. So we're relying off of Anna's $2,000 a month. And now she's got to go to find another job to try to cover the $3,500 a month in bills, on top of trying to take care of the 3 kids, juggle everything else. And then in addition to that, you guys have $120,000 in medical bills. If God forbid, if that were to occur, I mean, what would that look like financially for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, that would not be a good situation at all.
Got it. Okay. So is that I'm assuming the living benefits then are important to you guys as well?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So what I'm going to do for you here, I'm going to place you guys in a brief 2-minute hold. I'm going to run this through a few of our companies, and then we'll be able to look at options.
Dude, that's so good. And the way you just sort of you're systematically breaking it down because, dude, I remember I would watch you run trainings back in the day and it was really brash, and that worked for you for a while. But what's the main reason? That obviously it didn't work for you. You sold a lot. And I think it's important that not one sales style is perfect or works, but there's certain things that you can do where you can sell insurance. You're going to get some sales, but it's not the best way to get some sales. So what's the reason that you made that change from being crazy brash to now where you're at with being almost systematic and
Yeah. I was honestly just with maturing on my end, where I would go into homes a little bit too fired up.
Yeah.
And a little bit too that. And I mean, you can, and also it's when you're virtual, it's a little bit more of a tap dance.
Yeah.
Where when you're with somebody, and when I would go into a home, The reason I was able to get away with it because they could feel that I cared.
Yeah.
That I cared, was empathetic. We're sitting in the same room, we're having a conversation, we're making eye contact on the same wavelength the entire time. So I wasn't going about it, trying to be a dick.
Yeah.
And people could feel that. Over the phone, we're not as connected, so it can feel a little bit of more of like a high pressure sales scenario. Um, but regardless of like how I would say it, one thing I would always do that helped me the most, and I tell this, I mean, if you guys watch any of my sales training, like say this almost every sales training, because it's the most important, is slowing it down.
Yeah.
Where we talk about 70% speed, 110% volume. Well, when you're building the why, you want to slow it down to like 40, 50%.
Yeah.
Almost cut it in half. Like you were already talking really slow, talk way slower and building the why. Because think about, even if I'm not speaking brashly, but I said exactly what I just said, but I said it 50% faster.
Yeah.
Where if I was like, all right, Ryan, so, looking at the situation here, looks like you just want to make sure if something happens, the home's taken care of and paid off, right? Like, it sounds like I'm just a sales guy that doesn't care, that's just trying to make a sale.
Yeah, that's wild, the difference. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I hadn't even quite thought about it like that and the empathy and like caring aspect, but like listening to what you did before versus how fast you talked just now, which is what a lot of Asians do. The differential there was like crazy.
Building the why is the most important aspect of the sale. It's the most important aspect, but it's also where agents struggle the most.
Yeah.
Because people are afraid to get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
People are afraid to get uncomfortable, and they're afraid to ask uncomfortable questions. And it's it requires vulnerability on your end to just dig deep. And so when they're a little bit uncomfortable, then they're a little bit nervous. So now they're nervous. Now they're trying to rush through it.
Yeah.
So now they're talking a little bit faster. And so now, but then the client doesn't know that. But the client's perception of it is like, oh, this person's just trying to be salesy. Like, dude, you could be incredibly rash over the phone as long as you say it with the right tone,
Yeah.
and the right level of empathy.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is just, you heard how I was saying, he was like, and I would encourage you guys, like, go back, rewind this and go back and watch the why again. Like, I'm talking crazy slow and I'm fluctuating my tonality where like you can hear like I'm speaking from my heart. Like I'm putting like, and when I would go into homes, like I would pour it all out on the table.
Yeah.
It didn't matter if it was, I would make a $10,000 sale, $10,000 commission, and then I'd go to the next home, and I would, it'd be $40 a month, and I'd fight just as hard for that $40 a month sale than that $500 a month sale, because it wasn't fair to the family to not. And I would lay it out on the table, and that's how it should be, because sales is a transfer of energy. So if you have low energy, if you have bad vibes, how do you expect to help anybody?
Yeah.
If you're having a bad day and you reflect that on clients and you're acting pissy on the phones, well, like, why are you upset when you're not having good results? Like, it's very, very important we all deal with personal things.
Yeah.
But I'm going on a little bit of a tangent here, but it's worth it. This is important. And it's one thing that's not talked about enough is you have to separate the personal from the business. Yeah, we talked about that a few minutes ago. And so it's when you sit down at your desk, whether you're in the office, whether you're at your house, whatever, it's like, disregard the fight with your spouse, this going on, that going on, whatever. And you just have to solely focus on helping and serving the families on your sheet. And this is going to sound morbid, but one thing I would do every morning, I would sit down at 7 a.m., be making my first dial at 7:30. And I would look at the sheet. I'm like, somebody's going to pass away tomorrow, and I'm the only person that knows.
Yeah.
And when you guys have that level of conviction and belief, it's almost it's impossible to not be successful and not close and not help families.
Yeah. Absolutely, dude. Heck yeah. I loved every single second of that, dude. Jonah, like I appreciate you for being as consistent as you have been, right? Like a lot of my guys, they really look up to you. And then the YouTube trainings that you're doing, like a ton of people learn from that, bro. So keep crushing it.
Appreciate that.
But last thing here that I want to ask you about, because you kind of mentioned it in passing before, you were talking about agents selling products versus, what it's going to do. And I mean, any like product that everybody knows about, right? Like Rolex, they don't sell watches. Their watches aren't worth 40, 50, 80 grand. They're not. They sell luxury, bro. They sell exclusivity. They sell style. Red Bull, dude, they don't sell energy drinks. That's not what they're selling. They're selling action. They're selling adventure. They're selling adrenaline. And what is it that agents, because they think cash back, oh, living benefits, oh, death benefit, like, and that's what they're thinking about selling. But like, what is it that agents need to be focused on? Like, what's that core emotion or emotions that like we're trying to like transfer to the client?
Empathy and dependability. We've all heard the saying, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And you ask what we're selling, dude, hey, we're selling ourselves. We're not selling more than we're selling a product, more than we're selling anything else, we're selling ourselves. So the question to ask myself before I went into every appointment was, how can I provide this client the most possible value? Yeah. Like, I know this person has gotten called by 13, 25 other insurance agents. How can I stand apart from all of them? Just letting clients know, like, hey, Mary, so, I work 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday. I am available Sundays, but please only call me if it's an emergency. Yeah. Okay. This is my contact. Send this to your daughter, Jennifer, and let her know that I'm your insurance guy. And when you pass away, I'm going to be putting my foot on the insurance company's throats, yeah, to make sure that your family's taken care of and you guys are paid out. And, it's just in all those little things, like, sending gift baskets out to your clients after you make the sale, like all those little small 1% things that may not make a ton of difference just doing that individual thing, but compounded and stacked upon itself. It's like, they're like, oh, dude, Jonah's my guy. Yeah. Like, anybody that's called my clients, they don't replace my business. They don't. Like, somebody calls them offering to save them $7 a month. They're not confused. They're like, Jonah's my agent. I'm gonna call him if I need to change my policy. I'll reach out to him. Yeah. And quick. So it's, think about, just that's what needs to be on the forefront of your mind of just. And here's the thing, it's the more, like, anybody that's dialed the phones, dude, it's like the more you dial the phones and the more you work, the more you realize most agents just suck. Yeah. Like, if you just simply follow the script and you do just this simple basic things of what you told you to do, like nothing even extreme, like nothing I even just talked about. Yeah. Like, dude, you're better than 95% of agents calling. Mm-hmm. And then you implement those small little 1% tweaks to add it. That's how you become an absolute savage. It's a book that I read a few years back. I should read it again, but Atomic Habits, where in the first chapter of the book, it talks about how, you've read Atomic Habits, I'm sure.
I read half of it.
Half of it, sure, fair enough. But they talk about how this one, it was like Norway or some country, I can't remember, but it's an Olympic bike racing team, and every year they got last place, and they just sucked. And so they're like, they brought a new coach, and they're like, dude, this is a problem. We're sick of losing. What can we do? So the coach, one thing he did was he swapped out their pillows. So swapped out the size of their pillows for a little bit of a higher quality pillow. He switched their riding gear from outdoor riding gear to indoor riding gear. It's like a centimeter lighter and thinner, like nothing at all. He made sure that they he like did different, like adjusted the tire pressure on their bikes, and like all these small minute things that by itself wouldn't have made a huge difference, but compiled upon itself, not only did they perform better the next time the Olympics rolled around, they got first place. And they got first place for the next 5 years after that. Every single year. Wow. So all those small little tweaks, they add up. They're a big deal. Like, those 1% things is what brings you from being average to being great.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Love it, brother. Well, John, I appreciate you taking your time to come here and pour into the agents. Like, I learned a lot for you. I could sit here and ask you questions for 4 hours.
Dude, I love this. I like to do this all day.
So that's all the time that we have. You guys are gonna need to rewind this, put it on you, save it for your favorites, rewatch it multiple times. The dude is absolutely crushing it. But that's all the time that we got. We'll see you guys next week.
Big fair man, bro.
Yeah.